Today is Tuesday, November 17th, 2015, and Joe Turner and myself, Judy Meyer, are talking with Richard Mulcahy, is it?
Mulcahy.
Say it again?
Mulcahy.
Mulcahy, can you spell it for me?
Mulcahy.
And wife?
Ethelene.
Ethelene. And I thank you for letting us come out. And we have left our Bridgeton area, and where is the name of this area we're in now?
Forestdale.
How long have you been here in Forestdale?
15 years.
15 years. Well, tell us, let's kind of start way back and tell us, where did you start off in life?
You want to start there?
Well, we started in 1958 when we were married, November the 11th.
Wow, your anniversary is
It was last Wednesday.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. And he found the house to rent in Bridgeton, which was Pattonville. And we rented the house and we lived there on Fifi Road, which was a gentry house, for 11 months.
You rented the gentry house on Fifi Road.
Yes.
That is amazing to me because I am a tour guide through there. And the house has been renovated
That's what we heard.
to look like the original house that when it was built in 1870. And you lived there what year?
58.
58. Can you please tell us what it looked like to you? I mean, just any detail that you can remember.
Oh, it was gorgeous.
Really?
Yeah, because they had big windows, and the living room was a huge, well, there were 11-foot ceilings, and it had a bay window that was gorgeous. That was where we put our first Christmas tree,
Oh, how nice.
which was 11-foot Christmas tree. And the living room was beautiful and dark furniture, and all the tabletops were all marble.
Wow. And there are two fireplaces. Did you use the
No,
fireplaces?
that was propane gas,
Oh,
so we didn't.
okay. And then there's also two stoves, one in the one bedroom and one in the dining room. Were the stoves there, the cast iron stoves? Besides the one in that little kitchen area. Were they there?
I don't remember those, do you?
Okay,
I don't
No.
really
Okay.
remember.
all right. They
Okay.
probably were brought in for the renovation.
And, yeah,
Okay. And what room was your bedroom in, Matt?
in the middle.
Okay. We call that Mary Elizabeth's bedroom.
Okay.
Did it have wallpaper on the walls?
No,
No,
painted.
it was just painted plaster, yeah.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
How did you find this house?
Just hunting around and shopping, and it was a for sale sign, a for rent sign in the window.
Who did you deal with then to rent it? Who were you dealing with?
I don't remember.
No, I don't know. I don't know how you found it, through the fire department or something, I don't know.
Somebody at the fire department probably told me.
Which fire department are you talking about?
Pattonville Fire Department.
Pattonville. And you were working at the fire, Pattonville?
No, I was a volunteer firefighter.
Oh, we would love to hear about that. We have talked to a few people who were in the volunteer fire department.
Well, I got on the fire department between my junior and senior year in high school,
Wow.
and as a junior firefighter, and we could respond to calls, but we had to respond always to the station, which was on Fifi Road. And then we would get on a truck or get in a car and go to a fire, but we could not drive our own cars to the fire department.
Because you were in the junior department?
Junior fire department. We always had to report to the officer in charge, and he'd tell us what to do.
I see.
And how were you alerted to respond to these fires?
They'd pick up the telephone at that point, and it would give you two short rings in the space of one regular ring.
And we would know.
And you didn't go anyplace except to the fire station.
Did you have certain equipment that you would take with you? Or was it there at the
No, we had the
fire?
equipment on the trucks,
Uh-huh.
except for our own boots,
That's what I mean.
and we had them with us. And we always put them on when we got going to a fire call.
And so you didn't know where the fire was till I guess you got to the fire's
Until you got
house.
to the fire station, and by that time they had it written on the board and whose house it was and everything else.
So the word volunteer fire department, am I to be understood that it was all volunteer from the people? You weren't paid?
That's correctly. We did not get into the system of earning money for 5 or 6 years, something like that. And then we went on tax base. We were just on, we used to sell cards or things put on the front of your house.
Stickers.
Metal like a heart. And that would show that you were a member of the fire department, and we could help you with the fire if you had a fire or whatever else happened.
Were there very many fires during your time there?
Quite a few, but mostly grass fires,
Oh,
people burning leaves
oh.
in the winter time, and then the wind comes up and away that goes.
Were you there when Brannicky Hardware had a big fire?
Yes, ma'am. Which time?
Well, I'm not quite sure what,
They had a fire of minor difficulty. I can't even hardly remember it. But the last fire call that I what didn't go on was when Brannicky's store burned all the way to the ground.
and why
And,
didn't you go on that
Because
one?
they didn't alert us. And there was a big argument over that. And I just don't talk about it anymore. So, but Brannicky's store did go all the way to the ground. So,
Were you living at the Payne Gentry house at that time?
no ma'am.
Oh,
We lived at the Payne Gentry house for 11 months.
okay.
And we bought a house on 80 Road in West Overland area, right off St. Charles Rock Road,
St.
block
Anne's.
and a half. And since I didn't want to drive all the way to West Overland Firehouse to respond to calls, I remained on Pattonville Fire Department
With permission.
and with permission from the board of directors. And responded that way.
What was your work that you did, since this was, I guess, like a part-time,
Well, when I was first on the fire department, I was a painter.
a painter?
Yeah. And that lasted, well, we got married on November the 11th. On the 12th of November, I got laid off,
Oh
and
my,
I was off for 6 solid months.
wow, wow.
She was working though.
And then you got a part-time job with Bridgeton Street Department.
Oh, thank goodness.
That helped a little.
And worked for them for a while. And then on December the 10th, 1960, I went to work for the post office
Really?
in Hazelwood
Okay,
and worked for them until the time I retired.
okay.
1989.
We talked to a lady that worked for the post office at Hazelwood, Eloise.
Yeah,
Oh my
Brockman.
God.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know her very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes, we actually interviewed her and her husband as
Wow.
well.
Well, good.
So you've done quite a few different things.
Oh, yeah.
And you retired from the post office then?
Yes, ma'am.
In what year?
1989.
89, yeah.
31 years you worked with them.
How about that? That's interesting. And let me ask you, growing up, where did you live?
Where I was born, well, St. Louis in hospital in St. Louis, but my parents lived at 19th and Branch, right down the hill from the original Hyde Park Brewery.
Oh,
And I can remember, well, the best I can remember is walking up the hill from our apartment, and having my father get a can of beer and walking back down the hill, and he'd sit there and drink the beer in the summertime.
So this was, city?
Yeah, City of St. Louis, 19th and Branch, which was, like I say, just down the hill from the Hyde Park Brewery. And if you go over the hill now, there was a post, a thing for water up on top of the hill,
A water tower?
water tower. And that's where the landmarks are still there, I do believe.
When did you move from, well, where did you go to school then?
Well, when we moved to Pattonville in 1939, because I was 4 years old, I started Pattonville at kindergarten the next year after I moved there, and I went to Pattonville grade school
Was that on Fifi Road?
on Fifi Road,
And where did you live then in Pattonville?
on Raymond Avenue,
Okay,
just south of Oak Street.
yes. And we've talked to several people that live on Raymond as well.
Yeah, I guess you did. Pattons would be one of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
In 1941, when the war started, that's when they put all those houses up the hill from Raymond Avenue was a big field towards Old St. Charles, and they started them houses up there and were putting them up like they were throwing rocks out in the street. It was really growing because there's so many people going to work for Curtis Wright
Yes,
and other related things for the war.
yes.
And that's how I got to know a lot of other people.
What kind of work was your father in?
He was a cook at Hullard's Cafeteria down on 8th and Olive
Oh,
in St. Louis.
okay. So did you graduate from Pattonville High
I
School?
graduated from Pattonville in 1952.
What did you do after graduation?
Went to work a week later for my uncle, who was a shop superintendent at Bush and Latta Painting Company
So that's when
in St. Louis.
your painting career began.
Mm-hmm.
I see. And you said that even when you were in high school, you actually were in the volunteer fire department.
Right.
And then you stayed with them how long? How long?
As a volunteer, up to, like I say, the time when Brannike's store burnt to the ground.
Do you recall?
No, I don't recall the actual
The
time.
but the year that was in?
It was in the 80s, it had to be. But you stayed there a long time because it was all, when they went paid is when you
Yeah.
decided to leave.
Yeah.
You didn't want to be paid to be a volunteer.
Well, uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Do you recall any of the names of the people? I guess they were all men at that point, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Do you recall any of the men that you were with as a volunteer fire department?
A few of them, Floyd Patton,
Charlie Brannicky,
Charlie Brannicky. He was always the first one on the fire truck.
Bob Leahy,
Bob Leahy.
Dave Stewart,
What about Lyle Downs? I
Lyle
think we
Downs.
talked to
Lyle
him.
Lyle Downs, yeah.
Lyle Downs but he stayed with the store more than anything else, because
Charlie
like I
would
say, Charlie would have had a fire phone in his store, and he was always the one that got the location on the call first, and he went out the back door running, and it wasn't very long, because he was a fast runner. And he would be going with the first truck.
Yep.
To whatever kind of a call it was.
Do you remember Joe Dewson on the volunteer?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. He's a great guy.
And they said they had a fire phone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I guess they did.
I think that was the first time we heard that.
Yes, yes.
If you listen to the Dewson's interview,
Yeah,
you'll hear Judy reacting to the
Yeah.
information.
because Eleanor White also had a phone. Her husband was a fire chief, wasn't he? George McCoubrey? McCoubrey's.
McCoubrey.
Yeah.
McCoubrey, yeah.
She's the one that would
Yeah.
do the phones.
The fire chief had a fire phone.
We've interviewed one of the McCoubry brothers also. I forget if it was Jave or George.
Oh,
Or
really?
maybe put the two of them together.
Yeah, they lived on Fifi on the other
Yeah.
side, yeah.
What
Yeah, I
about
know.
if the fire happened and you weren't available, say during 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you weren't home? Who would
That's
be,
just the way it was. We were volunteer. We all had jobs.
yes, I
Oh, sure.
assume.
Yeah,
And, if they had a fire call and it was big enough, it'd call, have another department in.
I see.
And most of the time, that'd be somebody like community fire department
Where were they located?
on St. Charles Rock Road. Right on,
Brown Road in St. Charles.
yeah, Brown Road and St. Charles Rock Road.
I see. Were they were a paid department?
Yeah,
I see.
basically, yes.
Okay.
You had Robertson Fire Department and Maryland Heights Fire Department.
Yeah.
They'd all come in.
And
we'd go help them too.
do you have children?
Do we have children? Yes, we have two.
And what school did they go to?
They went to Pattonville, both of them. And graduated both of them.
Yeah.
Did they graduate from the new school on Creve Coeur Mill Road?
No, sir?
Still
They
on Rock
did.
Road?
Did
Yeah,
they?
yes, they did,
Okay,
yeah.
they did.
Yeah.
But you graduated from the,
I graduated from the old school on St. Charles Rock Road
across from Northwest Plaza.
with no football field.
Yeah.
Baseball field, but no football field.
Ethelene, where did you go to school?
Rittner in
Oh,
St. John. Yes,
just
I know.
down the street.
Yeah, just about.
How did you two meet?
Through friends. He was home from service, and the other couple knew him when I didn't. And then he picked us up one night from skating, and I guess that was it.
Where were you skating?
In Pine Lawn, way back.
At
Yeah.
Hodges?
Yes,
Yeah, right by Sam the Watermelon. Man.
right. Yeah,
I know
that was
of the place.
1957 that was.
I know of that place.
Yeah.
Yes, I went there myself
Good
sometimes.
roller skating, right?
Lots of fun.
Yes, yes. So where are your children now? How old are they, may I ask?
Well, Clete is,
Christine, the oldest, is 56. And she lives in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh,
And her son is 54, and he lives in St. Paul, Missouri, over here.
they,
you know.
they were born, she didn't want to have the second baby on the first baby
Birthday.
birthday,
yeah.
so she waited till the next day to have it.
Were they 2 years apart?
And a day.
2 years and 1 day?
Yes.
Wow. And they went, what grade school did they go to?
They went to Briarcrest on 80 Road, the other end of it. It's closed now. 80 and I guess that was Lambert down that way.
Mm-hmm.
Block off
It was
of,
Bridgeton.
block off of.
I mean, in Pattonville.
And then what about for junior high? Were they,
They went to the one in Maryland Heights
okay, okay. And then they went to Pattonville High
High
School.
School.
So how was their Pattonville days different from your Pattonville days? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, it was growing by leaps and bounds when they got into it.
Had a football field by this time?
Yeah, they sure did.
Did your two kids do any part-time jobs while they were in high school in the area?
The daughter worked at McDonald's, the one that opened up on Old St. Charles and Lindbergh. That was a new one. It's gone too, I think.
Oh, okay.
And the
Okay.
son worked for a filling station just right down the street from us, 80 Road and Old St. Charles.
Okay, all right.
Yep. And then he went to body school his senior year down at Rankin
Okay.
and
Mm-hmm.
learned all that.
Mm-hmm.
How about shopping? Where did you do your shopping?
Most of it was really in St. Anne's there on the Rock Road. Old stores, Worst, and oh goodness, I don't know what other stores were there. And then down, I guess, was it Normandy? The one on Chambers Road, what would that have been? Northland.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And of course then Northwest, and that was almost in our backyard.
Yeah.
Well, what was at Northwest Plaza while you were going to school? I know it wasn't the mall, was it?
No, it was basically a farm for
Dairy.
milk farm.
Burgess, wasn't it?
With,
Bergman's or Burgess or something farm?
no,
No, okay.
come on, brain.
It was a dairy farm.
Yes.
Yeah. And they had milk cows, and you could get milk from them, or you can buy it from the dairies.
Do you remember when Northwest Plaza was being built in the very beginning?
Oh, yeah.
I bet it was exciting, wasn't it?
It was a thing to watch them do, I'll tell you.
Didn't want it to happen.
Why?
Because of taking away from the country like,
Yeah.
you know, and
The
it just
cows
got
are
worse and worse, you know.
Mhm.
And then they built apartments behind us and it just didn't stay the same.
No. No.
Nothing does.
Right.
And that's why when he retired, we moved to Lake of the Ozarks.
And how long were you at Lake of the Ozarks?
11 years. Then we got children growing up and grandchildren being born and stuff like that. And we decided to move back to be closer.
And here we are.
And we come in here and we're 40 miles away from them now.
Yeah.
Cuts out for the daughter and she's
Well, she's
400 miles.
more than that, 1,200.
Yeah.
Do you ever go back in to see what's going on in the Bridgeton area?
Very seldom. Very seldom.
Well, you know, we're having a new community center being built right now, even as we speak.
Yeah.
The old community center, do you remember the community center on Fifi Road? There actually was one close to where the school would have been, or where the school was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the school's kind of split on Fifi Road. And I think the one on, as you're going north, would have been on your right where the old fire station is.
True, true.
But that was your community center, wasn't it?
We did, yes, they did use it as a community center for a while.
Mhm.
And then 30 years ago, they built the community center, which was very nice, and outdoor pool.
What-
And of course, on the grounds was the Payne Gentry
That's what I
House.
thought. I went to a shower there at that community center. That was one time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And actually, they've been building all this year a new community center, which is going to sit just a little bit farther back. Well, let's get back to the Payne Gentry House those days. When you remember thinking about when you were there and just kind of having a panorama view of the surrounding area, what do you kind of remember that was around? Were there houses around, across the street?
Across the street on Fifi Road was quite a few houses.
Nice homes.
Nice homes.
Nice brick homes.
And on our side of the street,
There was nothing.
which was the west side, I would say,
Yes, correct.
not much.
Was it mostly wooded area?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Wooded.
Villa Marie subdivision, which is behind it, I think now. What subdivision is it back?
St. James Estates.
That was nothing. It was all field. Yeah,
Yeah,
just a
they
gentry
did.
house.
They were building houses back there and we got to looking at them, just being nosy.
Uh-huh.
And we saw one we liked,
Oh, this is when we lived in St. Anne's.
and yeah. After we moved to St. Anne's. And we put money down on it, and they sold it out from underneath of us.
Oh.
Well, we couldn't buy it because, well, it depended if we sold our house.
Yes.
If we sold our house, then we could do the
Right.
contingency or something,
Yeah.
Right.
and somebody beat us to it.
Oh, kind of like a domino effect.
Right. Yeah.
Well, when you lived at the Payne Gentry House, then of course you were very close to Brannicky on the one corner,
Mm-hmm.
and across the street was the Mizpah Presbyterian Church, which is still there.
Mm-hmm.
Across from that, Fifi Baptist.
Baptist.
But what was on the other corner?
Big old house,
The
two
beautiful
ladies lived in. I
two
can't
widow
remember their
ladies, I
name.
think. I think, or just didn't, never got
That,
married.
they
Mrs.
owned that
Lucas?
property for a
Yes.
long time. Lucas, yeah.
Did you know of her?
No, and very seldom did anybody come out of the house to be seen. But they did a lot of shopping and stuff, so I heard, but it must have been during the day when I was working.
Did you go to Fifi Baptist Church for any occasion, any of their?
Yeah, I was a member of Fifi Baptist Church for
You were?
long years.
Yes,
Till I
okay.
met this young lady.
You also went to nursery school there.
Huh?
You went to a nursery school there at the Baptist home. Your mom had you enrolled.
Well, she put me in it for a while.
Yeah.
She put
like
him
a
in.
preschool.
Did you have any brothers or sisters?
Nope.
And you?
I had a brother. He just passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, in February.
Oh, wow. So you were a member of Fifi Baptist Church for a while.
Mhm.
Now, when you were there, did you go to the small chapel church? Did you attend services at
The old church.
what we call the chapel church with the beautiful stained glass windows?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's quite nice. I've been in there for a wedding. It's very nice.
Hmm.
Do you remember when they built the great big church?
Well,
They
remember-
built that after we moved, I think.
I don't think so. But anyway, I do remember it being
Well,
built.
But when I married her,
You couldn't miss it.
her father had 6 sisters that were sisters.
They were in the convent.
Catholic.
I see. They really were sisters.
They really
Uh-huh.
were. Yeah.
And I got into the Catholic Church right away.
Better do
Yeah.
that.
Keep peace.
Good idea. Yes,
Mhm.
I see. Did you have many memories of the businesses that were on St. Charles Rock Road at that time, especially the ones going west?
Oh, yeah. Grandpa Pigeons.
Yeah, that was.
What about
Yeah.
Sharps? You like going to Sharps, you said.
Oh,
Sharps on the corner of
Sharp's
Raymond.
restaurant,
Yeah.
yeah.
You sat there and watched TV or something?
Yep.
Well, we've
Watch
heard about Sharps a little bit. So it was a restaurant.
Restaurant, and you could go up there and buy a nickel Coca-Cola and sit there for 2 or 3 hours watching television.
And they didn't kick you out, huh?
Nope. No.
Do you remember when Highway 70 came across
Yes, sir, I sure
Rock
do.
Road?
I sure
Were there
do.
some businesses in that area that were removed to make room for that bridge?
I honestly cannot remember. I would say there was, because of the location.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing I can really remember about the Highway 70 was when they opened the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And not too long after that, we were out there one day on a fire call for a truck accident, and we were catching chickens. There was, I don't know, I got to drive the emergency unit truck. And then we got to the crawl, and somebody says, "What are we gonna do with all these chickens?" The guy got it on the truck, he says, "Pick them up and take them with you." He said, "They ain't no good to me anymore," because his truck was totaled.
Oh.
And he had them in cages on
Uh-huh.
the back of the truck. And when them cages hit the ground, they came loose. And
Oh.
the chickens were all over the highway.
Oh,
When
my.
it ended at St. Charles Rock Road at that point,
Mm-hmm.
had come over from St. Charles County. Then it stopped at the Interstate, well, the Rock Road.
Yeah.
And they were working going in,
Mm-hmm.
but there wasn't no place else to go. They had to get off at the Rock Road. And I forget, we had, I can't remember how many chickens, but back into that Ford box truck that we had for emergency unit was full of chickens. Mostly alive.
Yeah.
And you know what a chicken does when he's scared.
I
And
had
it
no
was
idea.
stinking.
Feathers flying around.
Yeah, feathers flying around, everything else like that.
Well, what did you do with the chickens, or should I
Took them
know?
back to the fire station and we divided them up. You
Little
got
perk
your-
of the job, I guess.
Yeah. Feathers and you know what on them, and everything.
You know that firehouse was sold recently.
The old one?
The one,
Engine house number 1, is it, on
Yeah.
Fifi, and they We
The
have a
beige
new
colored
one on St. Charles Rock Road.
I'm trying to think of the old right-of-way. The old streetcar right-of-way
Yeah.
was right alongside of the fire station, but it wasn't a right-of-way anymore. It was on, that's the door we put parking in that area with the old right-of-way when we got fire calls. And go in the door on that side of the fire station. Because it was locked, but you had to have a key or something to get in. Normally, Charlie Brennick had it open already and it was gone.
Who paid for the equipment, the trucks and everything?
Well, we started out as a volunteer firefighter, fire station, before my time. And they went to the door, and asked for money. And we got one, we had one 1948 pumper that they started out with. And then they went to a fire district, just about the time I got on the fire department, and started getting tax money.
Okay.
And then we, very frugal, we got paid absolutely nothing and double time for overtime. For nothing, double nothing.
You loved it though. Hell,
Oh, yeah.
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 Would you have wanted to be firefighter as a permanent job? I mean, looking back now, looking back in
Looking
hindsight,
back now, I'm glad I didn't. Because you could get hurt so bad, so quick. And, like I said, I went to work for the post office, and that just kind of
That
put
was-
a damper on the end of my fire station,
That was the best.
firefighter.
Yeah.
Because I worked 6 days a week, most of the time, or on a rotating schedule, where I rotated my days off when I got to be a regular carrier.
okay.
I was a mail carrier.
Well, where Joe and I live in Spanish Village, and he lives up the hill, we're on a rural route that was out of Hazelwood.
Oh, yeah.
The one that Eloise did,
Oh, is that the one?
yes.
I never did know.
Rural Route 1.
Yes, it's kind of odd that we were on that out of, Hazelwood Post Office. But that's what you did then, you were a letter carrier.
Well, I had a letter carrier when I got on permanently.
And were you working then as well?
Yes, I worked for a Kmart in Bridgeton.
Oh, okay. Was it the one across the street from Northwest Plaza?
Yeah, on Blake and
Right.
Lambert.
Yes,
Mhm.
uh-huh.
And Fifi on the other side.
And now that location is a weekends only store.
Right, I do know that, yeah.
Well, they're trying to bring back businesses at Northwest Plaza.
That's good.
They are trying,
Yeah, I know.
but it's a little slow in coming, but hopefully we will see that in the future, the turnaround.
Oh, sure.
Things seem to go in cycles.
Oh, yeah.
And you have grandchildren, you said?
Yes.
And now one family lives out of state and one family is here?
Well, no, just the daughter lives out of state. Her children, her daughter, Carla, she's 26. She's a nurse up in Ohio at a hospital, ICU. And then the oldest grandson, he works for the Klieg Gas. And then our son's children, Natalie, she works as a general manager for Steak and Shake.
Okay,
And the grandson is going to Carbondale in automotive, but it's got a special name. It's a second year for the school. Anyway, he's learning about automotive designing and all that. And he's been offered a job, which he did an internship this past summer for 11 weeks with Toyota in California. And that's where he's going to go after he graduates in May
I
to work
see.
for them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all doing well, and we're very proud of them.
Wonderful, that's wonderful, glad to hear that. Do you remember anything about their high school experiences that stand out to you as being, you know, maybe innovative at the time, or a lot different from when you were there?
A lot different when I was there. Because they didn't expand our high school on St. Charles Rock Road till I got out of it.
They waited for you to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
they
in-
waited for me to leave,
That was
that's
in
for sure.
52, yeah.
1952, then 1953, they started building on the wings.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And,
The children were active in sports.
Were they?
Oh, yeah. You were basketball and
Yeah.
baseball.
especially our grandson on her side of the family.
No, I mean you. You played basketball, you were,
No, I didn't play basketball,
Oh.
I was too little.
okay.
That's what the coach told me, you're too little. So I became a basketball manager.
Okay, right. And your children, what sports were they in?
Well, they played outside of school for ABC
Oh, yes,
in St. Anne's,
sure.
and he was coach for their
Mhm.
teams. Football and softball and baseball,
Mm-hmm,
which kept you busy, just like everybody is now with their kids, you know.
right. Well, getting back again to the Payne Gentry house, you know, we have, when I give tours, invariably I have people that want to know about the ghosts that are, you know, said to be there. Did you have any experiences at all while you were living there that made you uncomfortable?
No, I didn't, because, I mean, we had a newborn and home alone a lot because with the fire. You know, he was either at meetings, at training, or on a call. And I wasn't scared. I was just a new mom and, you know, just taking care of the baby and, you know, want to make everything safe. But I didn't hear anything that was
Good,
scary.
good.
Yeah.
Well, the old kitchen is very narrow that leads out to that back. Well, there's two porches, one that goes out back, and the one's actually on the side.
Right.
Did you use that area for cooking?
We used the back one mostly for the barbecuing. Well, the porch.
Mm-hmm.
But you talking about in the kitchen cooking? Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we use that.
What about the room that was Dr. Payne's bedroom there, what we call the north wing? Did you use that room?
It was that in the front of the house? They call it the front of the house?
No, not exactly,
It's
more on
more
the
in the back.
side.
Okay.
It was on
No.
the right side.
No, we just used the bedroom, the living room, and another living room, and a great big bathroom was in there.
There was a bathroom?
Oh my gosh, yeah, it was huge. We had a great big, plus your bassinet, you know, for the baby, you know, for her bath, and, you know, it's a bathing table. Yeah, everything, it was huge.
Where was the bathroom?
It was like across between the two bedrooms and right off that hall. So did they change that?
Yes, apparently they did.
I'll be.
They did. When you first walk in the very front door, you can go to the right in what we call Mary Lee's bedroom.
Okay.
And you can go to the left, which would be the living room, where you said was the bay window.
Right.
But in that area, when you first come in, there's a door that you can go through to go out to the back.
Right.
And apparently the bathroom was back there.
It seemed like it was off on the side to the south of the house.
Yeah, that would have been south,
Yeah.
actually. That would have
Right.
been.
But we always came in off the driveway side, off of this little porch. There was a little porch off the drive.
Mm-hmm.
We parked our car. That's
Did-
the side we went in on.
Did you use the basement at all?
Oh, no, we never did. No, I don't think it was available for us to open.
I was wondering, because you, see, under the house proper would be a cellar.
Yeah.
And it certainly is not fixed up or cleaned up in any way.
Never.
We use it just for storage. But there is like a cellar door that you can open up and kind of go down a few steps.
Oh, I guess that was locked up.
And
It
then,
was locked up when we went.
That's what I mean, yeah.
on the north side of the house, underneath that bedroom, is Dr. Payne's medical office. And you didn't go in there either?
No.
Mm-mm.
Well, see, that's what's interesting to me is that you did not look around or go in there. And there's a stairway that leads from the bedroom, Dr. Payne's bedroom, like I said, that north
Yeah.
wing,
Right.
into the doctor's office. And you never
No. Well, I was only 18. I was kind of
shy?
scared, I guess, and but it's locked up or whatever. I wasn't going to investigate.
It
And
was
so what-
locked. It was a padlock.
Padlock.
Okay.
I know that crawl space was. I mean, the cellar looking thing was.
So you were more or less told keep out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and then the furnace and everything is downstairs in that area. So you never had occasion to go
Yeah, we-
downstairs and worry about the furnace or
We had a big
whatever.
old propane tank out in the backyard.
And in the backyard, was there a well or a cistern? Do you recall?
I think I remember.
Yeah, there's something out
There was a
there.
picnic table, I remember, out there, and a clothesline. But I don't know about a well was there too? I mean, like an open what? No, I don't remember that, unless it was in the woods.
Where the snakes
It's
were
right
always
back,
at.
pardon?
Where the snakes were always at in the summertime.
Ooh.
Was there, let me ask you, was there an outhouse on the property when you were there?
No,
No.
not that I
As
know
far as
of.
we know, no.
No,
Okay. Because they didn't need it anymore, I guess.
I guess, yeah, because it was a nice bathroom they had there.
So where were your closest neighbors outside of looking directly across the street to the right or the left? Where would have been neighbors?
There
Yeah.
wasn't any. I
Yeah, there
remember.
was neighbors across the
Oh,
street.
yeah, that builder.
Across the street, there was
Yeah, but-
nothing on our side.
No, nothing. Or the north or the
I'm
south
trying
side.
to think of that guy's name.
Yeah, he was a
with the
builder.
construction.
It was across the street.
I don't know, he was a contractor.
Nice
I
couple.
don't remember his name.
Mm-hmm. And you say they were just starting to build in the subdivision behind there.
No,
No.
that was nothing.
Nothing. They started that after we moved.
Yeah, good 5 years or so.
I mean, like on Magellan.
Right.
Yeah, that's right, good job. Yeah, maybe even longer.
St. Gerard Park
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
and St. James Estates.
Mhm.
And they have some newer areas, DePaul Hills, a little bit, west of that.
Mhm.
Well, stuff was being built then was Chatham Village. And,
You had a fire fighter there.
the big ones, they all just sold at the airport. Over
Carrollton.
Natural Ridge.
Oh, years ago, Carrollton.
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 Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Chatham Village is the
Above
one that's
ground.
down by the new high school on Creek Road.
Exactly, up the, by that Grace, isn't there a Grace?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a big
Church?
church. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very big complex now,
Mhm.
very big.
Very big.
Yes,
I see that one go on from 70 to 270.
yes,
Mhm.
it is. Is there anything else that you might want to tell us about thinking back to the days? And why do you refer to it as Pattonville and we always refer to it, our community, as Bridgeton?
Because it was Pattonville. Bridgeton and Bridgeton Terrace were farther north and a little to the east of Pattonville.
That's right. Closer to the airport, wasn't it?
And the post office was Pattonville Post Office.
I see.
And that was in Brannigan.
Right.
And then that was in Brannigan's store.
Mhm.
So did you have to go pick up your mail?
We did for quite a while.
He did,
And
we
then
didn't.
then
on
they,
Fifi.
then they brought carriers in and we put a mailbox on the front of the house. And he'd walk up and put it in the mailbox
That was on Raymond Avenue.
on Raven
On
Avenue.
Fifi, we had a regular mailman. Yeah.
Is your house still there on Raymond, do you think?
Yes, it is.
We have
It
friends that
was
live
a couple of years
in
ago.
Bridgeton, they always cut through that street.
Well, we've actually talked to a couple of people that are living on Raymond presently. So we have some interviews of people
Yeah.
that are on Raymond. Well, thank you so much for letting us come and talk with you today.
Okay.
We didn't
I
have that
hope
much.
I hope it helps you out.
just be interesting maybe to other
But,
people.
Well, it all adds up.
Yeah,
Okay.
Thank you again.